Ta-da! All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Freedom Forum. Right. So, happy Patriots Day. On. You silence. Happy Patriots Day. And all around good vibes. If you can't tell, I'm freaking exhausted. I've been working my ass off. I have done things in the past couple of weeks that are, we'll just say, not human. I dug a hole that I should have used a backhoe for and instead did that all by hand. So I'm barely recovering from getting my ass kicked by nature. On top of that, it's been raining like crazy. And I have a rat problem from hell. Of course, I've been dealing with that. So my sleep has been interrupted. But there's one upside to all this shit. I am literally so fucking tired. I couldn't give a rat's ass less about the politics of the world right now. It's a good feeling. So anyways, how was your week? Oh, month. What have you? I don't know. I says while I'm sitting here trying to figure out how I got my last 4 papers stuck together. So, hey there, Ty. If you want to hunt rats, go to DC. I know, cuz. I know. Damn politicians. I got plenty in my backyard. See, unlike the DC politicians, the ones in the backyard are a direct threat. Ones up there in Congress, well, they can chunner all the fuck they want. It does not change the fact that I am not beholden to them. I am beholden to self-governance. Meaning that only motherfucker I'm beholden to is me. Guess it's a good thing I'm such a nice person, such a good individual, one that doesn't go out there and try to start no shit, because boy howdy, I tell you what, people would be clamoring for government. We need somebody to keep this motherfucker under control. Like as I says, I've been working my ass off. And if we get a port in a storm here, I might actually go and show y'all what I've been doing. I have a small backyard pond I'm going to be putting fish into and using as kind of like a fish farming kind of clean out all the power bait from the animals so that then I can actually turn around and safely eat the fish. I've come to the conclusion that the reason why the fish taste nasty as fuck is because when fishermen are out there and they're using their power bait, it gets stuck in the water, it comes off in the water, and then the fish eat it. And the thing about power bait is it's not made to be eaten. It's made to be just so irresistible to fish that they will do anything to eat it. So you get this really high chemical um, really chemically taste in the fish, and you get it starts to, after a couple of years, the fish will start to taste like a dumpster smells when it's been sitting outside of an apartment building in the middle of summer, and God, it stinks. It's nasty. So I've been working on I've been working on getting my fish to, if I catch them locally here, I'm going to be turning around, sticking them in my pond, doing a cleansing cycle for them, so that when I go to actually fillet them out and smoke them up, they don't end up tasting like hot garbage. These are the last of my waterproof rolling papers. Funny joke, but yeah, it's kind of true. These are actually pretty much waterproof. That's a trick for another day right there. Waterproof rolling papers. One day I might have to actually show you all how to make them motherfuckers, because it's pretty cool. It's real easy to do, and it's not like you're going to be breathing in a whole bunch of toxic shit that you wouldn't already be breathing in. It's a cigarette, by goddamn. Cheek, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. So, this motherfucker burning. It's a little pain in the ass, though. All right. Let's do a bit of a walk around, shall we? Go and see what I've been up to. Because, like I said, I had to take a step back from YouTube. I've been working my ass off, and it's not been so much on my book as it's been on the rest of everything that's going on around here. So, hold up right quick. I'm going to change over the screen brightness so I can actually see what I'm looking at here. Now, as you can see, I've been working on framing out a garden so that dog ain't getting into it. This is all planted up right here with echinacea here in the corner. Going back further, there's some corn in there. And then back there, there's roses here where my hand is. And then right down here in the front, there's a whole bunch of herb plants. And, of course, the piece de resistance. Cigarette went out. Only downside to these waterproof rolling papers. Water resistant because it's, it's basically butter on a rolling paper. So anyways, there it is, the pond. It's not full all the way yet, but I'm working on that. And here you see that it's got this little channel cut into the ground here. Comes back to here, and there's a little waterfall right there. That waterfall will be a fountain that aerates the water. It comes down here, the turbulence is slowed down in this creek, and that holds the oxygen in the water, so that once it gets down here to the fish, the water's well oxygenated. And the rock pebble here will help to peel off some of that sediment. And it's just a, basic below ground pond, because the ground here, the dirt is almost perfectly clay. That's why it's holding water like it is. There's no liner in that pond or nothing. They're just clay bottom. Once again, me sitting here talking. All right, now, fire pit. This is an incinerator type fire pit made with just regular old, I put chicken wire around the outside of a bunch of rocks that I stacked on top of it. But if you look at the inside construction, you'll see. Get down in here. Camera, if you would focus, you fuck. All right. You can see right here where my fingers are touching. That is horse wire. That's your, your basic horse wire fencing has been wrapped around in a bundle. And then that is sunk down into a basin of concrete down at the base of this. And then that is stacked rock on the outside with chicken wire to hold the rock onto the outside, because you don't want to actually have grit. You don't want to have any kind of grout in between those rocks. You want the airspace in there so it gathers the air in, and then it incinerates the wood that's in it. And then that metal holds onto the heat and continues the process. Makes it almost smokeless. Chickens. Hey there, you four. They're back over there in the corner. They're little ones. As you can see my buffs right now. But down in there, there's a couple of those speckled like my rooster. Now, I'm going to show you the chaos that I have been dealing with for the past 2 weeks. Rat hole. Rat hole. Rat trap. Rat hole. 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 Y'all think as I'm joking here, I'll show you. They get bad. This is all my old garden. How's that for a rat hole? Thing's almost as big as my hand. Here's my new garden. Got a couple of sprouts here, one there, one back there. Got a couple more in here. A bunch of little seeds and whatnot that I planted. Some peppers and squash and all the good fixings. I need to show you all something else. Rat hole. And I was digging through here, and guess what else I found? Underneath of my, what was this? St. John's wort. There is a full-size rock fountain down here. Didn't even know it was there. Yeah, I got caves underground, all right. Got more rats than a fucking New York City sewer. Oh, right. What I've been making this whole fence out of and all that is the you see here, this tree is sitting right here. Down underneath of that tree, that's what's left over of the old the tree house that was in the apple tree. And I got more of, you know, the ground back here is all laden with rats and all sorts of problems. Got them trees that I got to trim out there. You know, I got a whole bunch of trees here that I got to trim back so as I can start growing stuff on this here. I got, let's see here. Around here we got, cucumber, watermelon, squash, watermelon, squash, watermelon, squash, watermelon. Right about there. And then we got cucumber right here on the back on the inside, and a whole bunch of peppermint growing all up in here, and some peppermint over in here. And of course, I had to go and put in a overflow, and down under the overflow, I put in some planted mint right here, and it's going and doing some well here. So there's that. I'm gonna get out of the rain before my phone overloads. All right. So now over my shoulder there, you can see that's my basic view of the area when I'm sitting down just chilling out. There's not much to be able to see from where I sit at. It's right here. You know, ain't much over there to see. But I've got this full view on the other side there. And I can hear everything that's going on with them rats, man. They are vocal as hell. Oh my God. Yeah, I am working hard for the shift in situation. So I actually wanted to bring something to y'all's attention. You know, those of you who are on a stupid cheap budget like me, you know, like a ramen noodle a fucking month budget. And you know, you've got, you know, just a basic flashlight laying around or something like that, you know, or you got a flashlight on your rifle. Okay, and you got your home defense rifle or what have you, or, you know, pest control air rifle, what the fuck ever. I don't give a shit. All right. This is just so that you can find a way to do this without having to spend oodles and gobs of fucking money in order to get the same effect. I'll be right back. All right, YouTube, this is an air gun, not a firearm. So that I can clarify, this is an air gun, not a firearm. Because YouTube hates the fucking firearms. They're just stupid like that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this scope assembly off, and I'm going to show it off to you, and you guys are going to trip out on this. You can save around $400 setting up your gun this way for things like, you know, you got pest control to do or something like that. All right, there you go. Now, this is my scope off of my air gun that I use for pest control. As you might be able to tell, there is a green lens on that flashlight. And this is just a regular old flashlight. There's a regular old rifle scope. That's duct tape and toilet rolls. All I did was I took a Sprite bottle and I cut little circles off that Sprite bottle. I stacked about 3 of them up. Then I took the little ring here and I used that as a retention ring on the inside of here. You can kind of see it there. And that holds those little Sprite bottle filters in there. And now I have a green light at night so that my eyes don't get messed up. And for some reason, the rats don't really pay that much attention to this. They don't pay that close attention to that green light. And that green light, looking through the scope, I can see it. Because I have a little bit of a shroud here, just enough. The glare from the light doesn't blare out my scope, so I can see downrange. That's the trick I wanted to share with you, is that just because you can't afford night vision doesn't mean you can't have night vision. It's ingenuity. That's how I've been dealing with my rat problem. I've gotten it from so many damn rats that I couldn't count them all down to, I'm pretty sure I now have about 4, judging by the holes that are still active. And these are big rats. They're, let me put it this way, that's smaller than they are. That's a, bottle of isopropyl alcohol. That is smaller than the rats I'm having to shoot. I don't think I have an appropriate size bottle to sit here and be like, this is how big the rats are. Propane container. Yeah, like that. That's about how big them fucking rats are. They are not small. That's from nose to ass. From about where that is on a torch to the butt end. That's a big fucking rat. And that's what I'm dealing with here. They are big rats. They're not small. Because you remember that squirrel I done shot, and I showed you a picture with the axe next to him and how big that squirrel was. These rats are bigger. I bullshit you not. So that's why I got this doohickey McJigger scoop, and that goes onto this rifle, which is my bolt action flash QE quiet energy integrally suppressed air rifle. Integrally suppressed, moderated, whatever you want to call it. Pretty much the same damn shit. Come on, Pickard. Come on, Lee. Come on. All right, and quota. Let me go ahead and just take a quarter of time here and re-secure that real quick. There she goes. Ready to use. Literally used a quarter. See, that's why I don't believe in the whole nod situation, because you know what nods do? They make it so that you're reliant on that. When your eyes can see at night enough to be able to get around, use your eyes for that. When you have to actually acquire a target and be certain of what's behind it, that's what you use night vision for. The other part of it is this: use your ears. See, these are things that my dad taught me while I was hunting. If you're having to deal with an animal that's going to attack you, an animal that is, for instance, a pestilent animal that you have to hunt at night in order to take that animal down, the first thing that's going to give you any clue that you are either being attacked or being in a situation where you are prey, your prey is actually moving around your vicinity, is your ears. The next thing is going to be your eyes. So use it to your advantage. Don't degrade your eyes in order to simply utilize good night vision, because that's what the military uses. You know what's funny about that? There's a reason why the nods flip up. There's a reason why they flip up. It's so that you can utilize the scope on your rifle, because you can't use that with the nod down. And secondarily, but more importantly, it's so that you can do fine motor things in front of you, because those nods can't see anything that's closer to you than your arm can reach out there. So that's why they flip up. So you can do shit right here. Yeah, I like rats too, just not in my garden or fucking up my wall. I don't know. I don't think I've ever shown you guys that. Here. Right yonder. There. There's a hole in that wall. Let me show you what rats do when they are not pets. That's what rats do when they are not pets. When they are not kept in a cage. They destroy your house. They throw the insulation from your house all over the fucking ground. And that is why I don't mind if you're going to keep them as a pet, as long as they're in a cage, cared for and appropriate. And when you take them out, you've got them, you hold them, you take care of them that much, and you've got that personal connection. Great, that's fine. But wild rats, do not get on my ass about shooting them, because this is what the fuck they do. That's what they do to me. They destroy the house. They destroy my garden. They fucking come after my chickens. Like the other day, my chicken was actually bleeding from where his crop is. This one right here, Mr. Mean Shit right here. Yeah, right there. Mr. Mean Shit was bleeding from his crop. I pulled him out the cage and I checked him out. One of them rats got him by right here. Pulled the feather out. He only got feathers, but because he was holding on to the feathers, it tore his skin a little bit. And that is precisely why. Yeah, guys, these are not your piebald rats that you keep in, a little clear terrarium cage, or have the little runs that you have run around your room and stuff, and they run around and they're your best buds. Yeah, no, these are not those rats. These are fucking gigantic. I believe tree rats. I believe they're big black rat. So yeah, there's a chasm of difference between the two. The domesticated rat, the piebald rat, is not the same thing as the brown garden rat or the black garden rat, which are known also as the wharf rat and the Norwegian tree rat. Those are both invasive species that we see all around the world. They are the brown rat and the black rat, respectively. Or no, contra respectively. Black rats are wharf rats. Norwegian tree rats are the brown rats. Your piebald rat is going to be normally that's a different. It's a brown rat, but it's so far separated from the species origination that it's not so much of a brown rat anymore as it's its own species, its own subspecies. But yeah, little fuckers were attacking my chickens. I said, we put the kibosh on that. I've eaten rat before. I don't want to. It's not like it tastes bad or anything, or it's just so little there. I mean, and it's a lot of work for very little meat. Plus, there's the gag factor to it. You know, of course, there's going to be the gag factor. You're just sitting there like, I'm eating a fucking rat. But beyond the gag factor, it's a fucking rat, man. There's like, you know, there's not enough meat on that to justify killing it for food. But yeah, also, they lead diseases. Big problem with diseases, parasites. You may not know this, but the number one parasite which we can get from rats, which also your dogs can get from rats, your chickens can get from rats, any animal really can get from rats, is rat lungworm. And by the way, they're not just in their lungs. And cooking that does not kill that. Something I found out. Cooking rat does not kill rat lungworm. I found that out because I went and I did the research, not because I ate a rat and then got sick from it. Just pointing it out to you. But when it comes down to it, man, I said, fuck it. I pulled out my little bag of 26 grain slugs here and said, rats, they are not eating my veggies. They're not eating my chickens. Not having it. I will not tolerate that. I mean, yeah, it's 25 caliber air gun. It's a little bit overkill for rats, but these are not ordinary rats. These are super rats. These motherfuckers make possums back off. I'm not bullshitting. The other night I was sitting here, I was watching through my scope, and I'm just watching this rat. I'm about to take a shot at it, and this possum comes crawling down the fence, and then posts up right in front of it, sees the fucking rat, and goes, "Oh shit!" Turns around and squirrel fucks out the motherfucker. You know, climbs back up and over the fence and out the other side. And I'm just sitting here going, "Whoa." Needless to say, I pulled the trigger on that rat, but I'm just saying, you know, that was a big fucking rat. If it's big enough to make a freaking, you know, a possum run, turn tail and run, that's a big fucking rat. Great supply of targets. Yes, I do. Ah, armadillos. Yeah, they I just like rats, I'm not sure I really want to eat armadillo. Just gonna say that. Just from handling rats or armadillos, you can get uh, what's it, leprosia bacterium on your hands, and that stuff. If you get it into an injury, if you get it in your mouth, you get leprosy. It's not something to fuck with. No, he doesn't go after the rats, and I don't really let him. I mean, I'm sure if he ever got a hold of a rat, it'd be dead, you know, dead right now, sort of thing. That rat would be dead right now. But no, I don't necessarily let him go after him. He doesn't go after them, so you know, on just on a nature of it, because also I've been trying to teach him to stay out of my garden. So you know, I don't want my dog going after the rats as well, because rat lungworm will kill your dog. It will kill your cat. You don't want them eating rats. Yeah, it's a lot of fun sniping them at night. You always got to be, you know, wary because how close you are to the neighbors around here. But you know, it's fun sniping them at night. No, I haven't I haven't brought out the arm howitzer yet. But I thought about it. I honestly did. I thought, you know, I was like, I thought about bringing out freaking stethoscope and a fucking the 50 cal and just going around and there. I thought about it. I'm not gonna do it. That motherfucker's so loud. It just is, man. I know it doesn't seem like it when you watch those videos of folks shooting that air gun and whatnot, but when you're actually holding that air gun or you're standing like, you know, 10 feet away, your ears are ringing. It'll literally ring your ears. It's not a quiet air gun at all. Actually, I've been using this one that I was showing you, you know. Yeah, the sound would be if I used sonic devices, one, they don't fucking work. All right. Rats, they can hear that sound and it irritates them, but it doesn't stop them. On the flip side of the coin, your dogs can also hear it, and it will literally drive them fucking insane. It will literally cause them to lose their minds. and you'll end up with a very mean dog. I've had that happen before. I used to have the Sonic spider getter rid or others, and yeah, they do put out an ultrasound frequency, but the dogs can hear it. They can hear that infrasound, and it's kind of like tinnitus is for us. It's just that constant gnawing at your mind, kind of. And you're fucking just want to just tear your ears out. It's the same thing for them. Only difference is that they notice that you can't hear it. And so they get angry about it. There's a reason why I don't use poison too. And that's because fucking chicken just ate wood. The chickens will eat anything. And I mean fucking anything. If they can get their beak around it, they will swallow it. Okay? Chickens will fucking eat anything. Dogs will eat rats. Been dead for a month, doesn't matter. Down it goes. So I don't use poison on them. I'm very particular about that, specifically because this one right here will eat dead bodies. And I know he will. He's done it before, so I don't fuck with poisons. The most effective poison that I've used on rats anyhow is high velocity lead poisoning. So, can I say it works? DRT, he did right there. So, I've been working real hard to expand the flock. I've been working real hard to get the garden going. Probably going to end up going and sowing a lot of seed this year. Still, I mean, I already got tons of seed in the ground, but I mean, I got bags of seed, so I'm gonna be going and throwing some down. You can bet on it. You know, got lots of that going. Let's see here. Those herb seeds that I got in the ground, no guarantees. They're old seeds, but I'm hoping that something will sprout. So I might get a viable one out of it. 2 or 3 maybe. I'm trying really hard though. That's why I got that garden back there growing up. I'm working on the corn. I'm working on all the stuff that really needs sunlight desperately. Like if you don't grow it in absolute full sunlight throughout the entire day, it's not going to grow well. That's what I've put back there by them roses. Ah. Oh yeah, you could imagine what would happen if I had me some black powder right now. Them rats would be up some shit creek, right, son? I might also be having to go and refurb the fence over there and explain to my neighbors why he's got a 2x4 sticking out of his window. But I'm just joking, y'all. I wouldn't actually. I'm not doing that stupid shit. Actually, one of the locals here went and told me, hey, you should take some road flares because I also have a mole problem. He said you should take some road flares and you should light them off and stuff them down the mole hole, and the moles won't come back. They hate the smell. I says, well, that sounds like a great idea. And then I looked into it. I was like, wait a minute. There's just one downside to that. Underground areas normally have methane buildups. especially anywhere that's had an animal that's been defecating in there. Boom. Yeah, I'm not sticking a freaking road flare into the dirt. I mean, I already did it with the freaking propane. I went and I stuck propane down the hole and lit it off, touched it off, and whoa, I had a hole down on the other side of the yard touch off. And I didn't even put enough propane in there to do that. And I did not go and, touch off that hole, but instead, it was a methane vape off and kaboom. Whoa. I was not expecting that. So, yeah, I'm not playing that game anymore. I figured, you know what? Let the moles have it. There's nothing I can do about it. I tried. I did everything I could for the moles, just short of going and dynamiting the backyard. So, and I actually kind of already did that too, but not really. Not as bad as. Yeah, that's actually where the fish pond is now, by the way. The fish pond was where the corn patch was that I wanted to put in, and nothing grew there after I blew up the mole hole there. So I said, well, fuck it, dig down, throw in a pond, put fish in there. The fish are out of the sunlight, so I'm not worried about that. I can grow stuff around the outside on the levee, and there we go. Do you realize how hard it is to fucking spear a mole? I don't know if anyone's ever tried that. Like, I know gophers are a pain in the ass, but I've shot gophers. I have never in my life been able to shoot a mole, and that's not for lack of trying. All right, literally, I've sat there, I've done all the technicals. I went and I poked holes in the ground to see where's the mole channel, where's it going, this way and that way, from the mound. And then when they start putting up in the mound, I start poking holes in there with a gun. Still didn't do shit. So I learned I'm not going to get frustrated over the moles. My dog does more damage to the gardens than the moles ever have. That's why I don't let him into the gardens. I I learned a long time ago that the best way to deal with a mole, honest to God truth, is God, I don't know if I'm allowed to actually say this on YouTube. But literally the best way to deal with a mole is sulfa powder and a shovel. Yeah, don't call Bill Murray. He's more about them gophers anyways, them groundhogs. Oh fuck, I would hate to be in that position. Could you imagine just a groundhog day, living that perspective? Like every morning you wake up, it's fucking groundhog day. You die and you wake back up and it's fucking groundhog day. It's just like, oh, fuck this. That is literal hell. That is hell. Like fucking self-perpetuation of the same old shit. No variation. You can't get out of it. There's no, there's no, like, you know what people are going to say because you know what's going to, fuck that, man. You know, it's kind of like, what's it called? Fuck was that fucking movie called? Tom Cruise, Into Tomorrow. Um, the whole live, die, repeat bullshit. Imagine that shit. I'm just saying, fucking Groundhog Day. Just, oh god, I would fucking hate doing that, dude. That'd just be shit. I'd kill myself just to get out of it, and it wouldn't work, and I know it. I'd just wake up with a headache. God, I hate that idea though. I wouldn't so much call that a comedy as a horror, a literal comedy of horrors. It's almost as bad as what we're going through in real life, you know? Kind of glad we're not going through that right now because it's fuck. I mean, we're already going through something similar. Callers beware. Yeah, don't be working on that suicide helpline right now, Magic. That might end up being a bad day for somebody. Ooh, herb of the day, flapjacks, papaya pie. Good stuff. Oh, damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not a phone care specialist. Yeah. You know how to fix that though, because it plugs into the bottom end of your phone. That's good. I'm glad we're not potential targets. Dentist's heater repair. Something tells me that this guy only runs his heater like once in a fucking wild blue moon. And so it had a ton of fucking dust in it and just, oh god. Yeah, I do not envy HVAC guys. Really, I don't. I watched one guy do the job at my mom's house, and that HVAC system wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. And still, getting to the motherfucker was a nightmare. So I could understand, some of the places you go to. Like, all right, I'll tell you what. I'll be back tomorrow with a flamethrower and a new HVAC system. All right. Good kind of dental professional. Well, it depends on your location. Uh, Dentists are like doctors, man. In that regards, you either get a really fucking good one who knows his shit, or you get a newbie. And well, Majik, if you're gonna do it yourself, um, I really highly suggest that you go to a dentist. But fuck, if you're going to do it yourself, and this is not medical advice, this is just as simple as this is common sense, old school medical practice, in-home medical practice for dealing with things of a rotted tooth nature. Um, One, you're going to need to have help because that's just a reality. Your gums are involuntary muscles. They're constantly holding on to the roots of your teeth. And so if you pull your teeth while you're awake, while you're conscious, you will rip your gums out because they're constantly holding onto your teeth and you can't shut that off. You actually have to shut down the and some of the involuntary stuff in order to get that to happen. That's why doctors use, or I mean, the dentists use the Novocaine shots, because it will, when your gums go numb, that's your gums not being able to fire off their clench mechanism anymore, and they just soften up and loosen up, and they'll just let go. But you have to actually get the teeth, get the gums to let go of the teeth in order to pull a tooth. I mean, that's why the root dissolves as a child. It's actually the reason why when your teeth, when the roots dissolve, they'll actually come loose of the gums, but your gums are still clinging on to that little tiny piece of root, and that's what actually hurts when you pull that out. Dude, it is a whole different field of pain doing it with a full root. So as I'm saying, especially like, God, it can get so bad. If you crack a tooth, if you break the tooth off, and so that you've still got root there, but you don't have the tooth to actually get a grip on, and then it can get infected and it can cause all sorts of trouble and trauma. And keeping it clean is not going to be easy as it would if you had gotten the whole root out, because that root will actually hold on to bacteria a lot easier than the gum will. And that's why I keep on saying, go back. I keep on going back to, you have to get a dentist. The dentist knows what he's doing. He's got the tools to do it. He's got the little vacuum sucker so you don't swallow blood while it's fucking happening, because you're going to bleed like crazy. All right. And dude, it's honestly the best thing you can do for yourself as far as the tooth pain, if it starts causing you to go crazy and shit. The best thing you can do until you get to a dentist is scrub it really fucking well with hydrogen peroxide. Don't swallow the hydrogen peroxide. Trust me on this. Scrub it really fucking well with a toothbrush and hydrogen peroxide to the point where it stops hurting. Then pack it full, like all the way full. Pack the hole with beeswax. And once you're done with that, you need to go and get yourself a little vial of the clove oil. And the reason why you do that is because clove oil is a numbing agent. It will actually cause your gums to go numb. It will also deaden the nerve endings in your teeth. So if that cap pops off, that wax cap pops off, and you have to do the whole thing again, instead of using the hydrogen peroxide a second time, which is not advisable. You don't do it more than once in a 6-month period, and that's for debriding. What you're doing is you're taking the calculus out of the inside of the cavity there, the dead shit, and you're getting that out. And then, if that wax cap comes back out, you use the clove oil to deaden the nerve and you cap it back off. And then you go, and as soon as you can, you get into a dentist, because the dentist is either going to put in a real one, a real, filler, or they're going to cap it, or they're going to go and pull it, depending on what the situation is. Anbesol is fine. Anbesol is the same thing. It is basically the same shit as clove oil. Might as well be. It's the same kind of it's the same end result. You can use Anbesol. I just particularly, say go with clove oil. 1, because it's natural, and 2, because that's what my dad taught me to do. My dad used to have cavities as well, and his teeth weren't like mine. This is why I actually like sweet stuff, is because I don't get cavities. I really just don't. I mean, I only have to scrub my teeth once in a blue moon. It's amazing. I don't get cavities. It's because of how I scrub my teeth and what I do it with. I do it with just straight Listerine, and I never let fluoride get to my teeth. I'm very big on that. So, no, but pharmacies do have clove oil, and they will sell it in the little tiny vials. The only reason why it's in the little tiny vials is because more than that amount, and you can actually, you can get high off of it, I guess. So they'll only sell you these little tiny vials that are, about the size of a cigarette butt. But all you need is like a driplet on the end of a Q-tip. You dab it onto the freaking gums and you're done. You don't need more than that. Aloha, aloha. Well, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, clove oil is a wonder unto itself. It really is. And when you need it, it is a fucking lifesaver. It will literally stop you from going insane from a toothache. So, yeah, clove oil. It's good stuff. I do not recommend smoking it, however. It will fuck you up. And not in a good way. Just leave that for the herbs, you bro. 1 year anniversary since your first live stream. Well, I wish shit. Damn it. You're making me do this. Okay, and copy and get your ass up here, Harloha. Here. Want to post comment, please. Thank you. Pain in the ass. There we go. Well, I'm only smart because my teacher was my dad. All right, when I say that my teacher was my dad was my sensei, sifu, whatever you want to call it as. He was my martial arts master. He was also my life instructor, as it were, life teacher. I had a good relationship with my dad, even though we didn't have a lot of time. Well, when you get the time, brother, when you get the time, click on your link. I'll put it that way. We need to get you up here to kind of, you know, celebrate that 1 year anniversary of being live streaming. After all, this was the channel that Mr. Harloha here was first to come up on and decided, hey, I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna break the ice. We'll just say fuck it, we'll go and do it this way. And this time I want to do it without any electrification though. Man got up on my stream and he straight up freaking shocked the shit out of himself with his own little flashlight taser. It was too funny. He was just like, ow, motherfucker. Got me laughing and shit. This bird, I swear to God. You guys, all that damage, that's from the chicken. I told you, these little fuckers will eat anything. I'm not bullshitting when I says this. That look, other side, not much damage there. This side, it's been cratered. That's all from the chicken. They'll literally eat anything. That's what I mean when they will eat anything. They literally will eat anything. I have heard stories, mind you, of a chicken picking up a dog turd and choking it down. So I do not believe for a second when somebody says, "Oh, my chickens are picky eaters," bruh. I've heard chickens will eat anything. You give them enough time, they will literally. They'll eat a dead body down to nothing. Peck the bones clean. Yeah, that's a dust bath, dude. I just put a dust bath in there for you. I wouldn't eat it if I were you. Yeah, goats will chew on anything. They won't necessarily swallow it. It all matters on, whether or not they can get it down their throat. But like I said about chickens, like I said about, pretty much just any farm animal. Let's be honest about it. I've never seen a horse eat dead things, but I have heard of pigs, cows, chickens, dogs, rabbits, of all fucking things. They'll literally eat their own dead. They'll eat their own young. And where's the other one? Oh, parrots. Parrots will eat anything. If they can force it down their beak, it is going out the other end. Especially macaws. I've watched macaws literally take and crack bones and turn them into powder, and it will literally either go out the sides of the beak or out the other end. It's one of those things. If it goes in the one end, it's coming out the other. That's most animals. Yeah, you got a full container of water. You got a place to go and goof around in the dust. And you've got scratch like you would not believe. I think that bird's taken care of. Yeah, get about 4 or 5 macaws. People be sitting there saying, you know, I've watched people go into that house and never come out. Not quite sure, but I think that maybe you should avoid that guy. No need for a wood chipper. Yeah, macaws are literally they are the vultures of the Amazon. They are the buzzards of the fucking they're the buzzards of Barbados. Honest to God truth. They will literally sink their beak into anything. There's and they are fucking mean birds. Like they bond with one person or one other bird, and they hate everything else. When I say everything, I mean everything, not just every one. They will bond with one human or one bird, and that is fucking it. They will kill everything that comes around them otherwise. They will attack everything that comes around them otherwise. They will literally bite fucking metal just to see if it screams. I do not have an unfounded hatred for those birds. There is a full contact reason why I do not like macaws. I fucking hate macaws. I'll put it this way. Be wary of the man who does not speak and the dog that does not bark. Fear the man who owns an aviary of macaws. No, it comes from clove. The spice. You know, those little things that you stick in the holiday ham, they're about yay long. That's what clove oil comes from, and it takes a lot of clove to make clove oil. Holy shit, pickles. We've got sunlight. So I'm going to get me a cigarette together. And then I think I'm going to go throw some bugs at the little bitties over there. Because I got a whole bag of bugs, but I don't want to pick it up until I have to walk over there, because otherwise Mr. Rooster here thinks he's going to get some. And he's already had 2 helping shares of it. He don't need no more at this moment. He's in fine fit and feather. So I'm not really concerned about getting him the bugs. I'm more worried about the other ones. They need it because they're growing little birds. And he's already done with his spring molt, so I got to get into them other birds. I got to get them their feather meal. If y'all didn't know this, this is what it takes to actually take care of birds, for that matter. But you know, any kind of animal. Pretty much, it never fucking stops, ever. You know, with plants, you might be able to take 1 or 2 days off. You know, you might be able to take a week or 2 off with plants and get away with it sometimes. Some plants, depending on where they're planted. You can't do that with birds. You can't do that with a dog. You can't do that with rabbits. You can't do that with freaking turtles or anything like that. You gotta be on point. If you got animals, especially if they're livestock animals, you know, livery animals, not just pets. Because, you know, it's one thing for pets, you know, like a dog, you know that's going to be a constant sort of thing, but you're okay with it. But when we're talking about livery and livestock, we're talking horses, we're talking sheep, we're talking goats, we're talking chickens, we're talking rabbits, we're talking raccoons, we're talking foxes, we're talking whatever it is that you raise in order to make a profit or to feed yourself. When it comes to that, it is a non-stop fucking merry-go-round of doing shit and just fucking beating your head against a wall. Never stops. Ever. There is a reason why my rooster looks so good. There is a reason why my dog looks like he is in the absolute fucking fittest prime that any dog could be. It's because I take really fucking good care of them. And I pay very close attention to their needs, not so much their wants. Labor intensive as fuck. And see, this is precisely why, you know, Nunky Sam is saying, oh, well, you can work. No, motherfucker, I can't. You got to be able to hold the job down to work. Me, I can only handle so much, and then it becomes overwhelming. It's not like I'm working for, you know, Birds and More anymore. I'm working for me. By the way, if y'all didn't know, that was my first job, working for the lady who owns Birds and More. I was the caretaker for the breeders. Fish is actually easy by comparison to birds. A lot of people, they say, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to go get me a parakeet or get me a parrot or this or that. Okay, do you have a job? Yeah? No, you don't anymore. All right. Yep, see? He's over there. He thinks he's getting some. Let's go see the little bitties. Yeah, tanks are a pain in the ass. They are a pain in the ass. I will acquiesce to that one, Majik. Tanks are a motherfucker. Just because of the amount of cleaning that you have to do. Hi, Andy. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. Come on, back it up. That's right. I brought you some treats. Half a second here. I gotta get them going. I gotta squeeze into my freaking chicken coop here because it's built for chickens. It's not built for people. All right, here. Let me. Anywheres that I could. Okay. Give me that. Set her up. That's better. And there we go. Now. Yeah, you guys know that sound now. Yeah, come on. Gotta get you some bugs. Yeah, see? Yeah, there you go. Toss some into the box for you, too. Yeah, see? It bugs. All right. Okay, here, let me right quick. Grab the camera. We're going to do a flip and a flip. And there they are. They're getting down in it. Yeah. All right. Now, I got to go sneak my happy arse out of here so they don't try and follow me. Hang on. Mm-hmm. All right. Gonna put the bugs back. See, I wasn't joking when I said I'm going to feed the bugs to the chickens, and then I'll eat the chickens. Yeah, what, mister? What, you want bugs too? Is that what you're asking for? Okay, fine. Old fucker. I'll give you a fistful. There you go. And a fistful of that as well. Nine hond. You do silence. Yeah, I can see that. I don't do much going to town either. Just for, getting the dogs and the chickens fed. I'll hand them store-bought stuff just because I'm not letting them out anymore. Um, Played that fiasco last year. Gandalf, good to see you. You got your blue zoot suit yet? Fix this real quick. Live on your channel. Hmm. There we go. That fixes that. There we go. Yeah, better. That's nice. Are you done yet? Oh, well, you seem like a sensible feller, so I figured, you know, here's a little spice of life. So, I ain't one to really put my business out there very often. I normally keep my family off the interwebs, but my my great granduncle, or no, my granduncle. Yeah, uh, my granduncle just passed away a few days ago, and it was his time, he was he was up there in age, he was in his 80s. Uh, it was generally surprising for everybody because out of all of us, out of all the men in the Price family and the Smith family and whatnot, he made it to ripe old age. Well, I tell you, Jesus. Most of us, we're going to make it to about like 50, 55, 60 maybe. That man made it to his 80s. um He was one of the most quiet people I've ever met in my life. Most rational individuals I've ever met in my life, too. Man survived the Great Depression, survived World War One, World War Two. He was a legend, honest to God, you know. Rest in peace, Lord. Rest in peace. Couldn't have picked a better time to walk out on us, honest. He didn't need this shit that we're going through nowadays. It's just one of them stunning sort of things, you know, like somebody that's. I remember him as a little kid, you know. I remember him always being there, and my grandma was there and whatnot, and all the family functions and stuff like that. And Haley's Comet passed over when I was a kid. He was there actually sitting there telling me about the comet and whatnot with my dad sitting there, you know. I got some memories of the man, I tell you. Only good memories of him. Honest to God, only good memories. I don't think I have one ill memory of that man. He was my grandma's brother. Last of the Bonnie 3, or Bonnie 5. Bonnie 4, whatever. I say that jokingly because my Kimmy's actually the last. Wonder how she's doing, you know. Yeah, Gandalf. I remember when I came up on your panel, brother. It was I was sitting there for a good minute, just like, you know, hi, I'm here. This is me. You know, not trying to be an asshole. Not gonna go and porn bomb you or anything stupid. We're not like that. You know, it's all sensible folks here. So that's why I was like, you know, when you let me up there, I was like, nah. We's all good peeps here. Indy's a wonderful person. She just doesn't. She does not show her face, and I understand, and I'm not mad at her for it. I just, you know, she's a very private person, personally. She still likes doing all this, you know, YouTube stuff, but yeah. But one thing that you could be certain of, Indy will never porn bomb you. She's not that kind of person. That's not to say that somebody else won't hijack her fucking account and try to do it, but it's because fucking people are people and they're evil like that. But the Indy I know would never do that. Yeah. Was that good, huh? I'm glad. Demanding little shit. Well, that little bead of sunlight is gone. I honestly don't know how people live up here. I went from having too much sunlight to the point where I was baking inside of the house to being in a place where there's really not so much sunlight the most of the year. One extreme to the other. I'm gonna be ending up having to buy a lot more bugs. I know this. Recognizing that, the birds plus the fish. But I do not want to be eating whatever the fuck that shit is that they've been selling in the stores, or what they've been putting in that pond over there, man. Yeah, it must have been some other live, but I remember I was actually on a panel with you for, all about like 5 minutes or something. But it was enjoyable. You're a gentleman, you know. Well, you're a real man. We'll put it that way. And yeah, Jeffrey's a real man, by the way. Also, and less of a gentleman, but still a gentleman. you know, what can I say? We're men, and what else the fuck do you need on it? Yeah, space. Yeah, the physics and stuff. That's what really got me into doing that particular design was just my love of physics and knowing things that really could do some amazing shit. That's what got me into thinking about that and just kind of cobble fabricating that motherfucker together on a piece of paper and saying, all right, well, this might actually work. It's a matter of it won't work. I know it won't work on Earth for one reason. It needs a frictionless environment. It actually needs to be in a frictionless environment in order to work, because gravity being what it is, it will stop that thing from actually being able to counteract. Dog, would you stop, please? I'm going to shut the other door. Anyways, so I was thinking on, what's a way that I can do this so that we can just take it from batteries. We build up the energy from solar panels and charge up batteries. Then you take those solar panels, you fold them down so that they don't get damaged by the vibration of the system. and you run the system off of the batteries, and then there you go, you've got your propulsion. Add to that your magnetic flux with the Alcubierre system, and now you've got actual propulsion that can work within that magnetic bubble without deforming the magnetic bubble through plasma relation, which is really complicated, but it's the easy way of saying it is that instead of taking the magnetic bubble itself and using that as your actual form of propulsion, you make a magnet, create that same space, but now instead of trying to force the magnetism of the space itself in order to cause that space to move, instead you're moving the craft, and that magnetic bubble of space moves. And because that magnetic bubble of space moves, it acts like kind of like a surfboard. And that surfboard is trying to find its equilibrium, is trying to get to the bottom of the wave. Well, because you're pushing against that magnetic force in front of the craft and it's pushing up against it, that craft then cavitates into that magnetic force and pushes itself forward, accelerates forward, giving you more net acceleration than you would have from just the magnetic drive or the kinetic drive alone. And that's why, the rockets, they are not as great, because what you could do is you could cause, from the plasma itself, you can cause a magnetic field to distort your collapsing field behind you and cause it to elongate. By causing that collapsing field to elongate behind you, you're creating more drag on the ship itself. And that's just through the magnetic flux itself. So it would, could be considered negligible, sort of, but again, you're trying to make space force you through itself, kind of like, squeezing toothpaste through a tube with that magnetic bubble. And it's easier to move it from the inside than it is to move it from the outside, if you know what I mean. It's interesting about, the things that you've learned from just sitting there and teaching yourself the minute shit. Like, people are always so fascinated about, oh, well, you got the physics of the stars and this and that and the other, but what's the practical use of it? When you finally break down the practical uses of the physics itself and turn it around, you realize, wait a minute, there's a whole lot more to it. You can manipulate the physics itself. I mean, that's basically what the idea of a bicycle is, or a car. They're running off of friction, but they're manipulating physics in order to convey you from one point to another. This is the same concept. You're manipulating physics in order to convey you from one point to another. You're just doing it in a way to where you are manipulating the physics to make it so that it moves faster than it normally should. Some interesting stuff, some fun stuff, man. I got real deep into it when I was younger. Like, you think that was deep? That, man. I explored cavitation beyond, even rocket scientists. I went into how could I use cavitation in order to create a system. Well, shit happens, cuz you gotta get them squirrels to quit chewing on your megabytes. They take megabytes out your fiberworks. So, hey, cuz, I want to point something out to you. When you get birds, for their feathers, all right? You can buy this stuff at, most stores that are like animal feed and whatnot. But it is just dried mealworms and river shrimp. Um, I would suggest that you mix it in with their seed, and that you can use it for training chickens, which I didn't know about, but I'm not really interested in that. I'm more interested in their the actual use of the protein that is in bugs and crustaceans that you do not find in other uh, forms of food for chickens, and that is chitin. That is actually what forms the structure of their feathers, alongside of the calcium and the other minerals that they need. They have to have some sort of a light structural protein, and that light structural protein, the lightest one in existence in the animal kingdom or in any particular, would be chitin. Chitin is also found in mushrooms. So if you get the right kind of mushrooms, theoretically you could feed those to your chickens and they would be fine. But it's a lot easier to just get bugs and shrimp. But it's only in their shells, and they need the keratin that's in uh, the the shellfish shells. That's something that I did not know when I first started feeding my chickens the mealworms. They like the mealworms, are great. But there's one downside, and that is that mealworms do not have a keratin count high enough for it to be um, usable for the chickens to make their feathers. Whereas the shrimps, they balance it out just a little bit. They give them a little more keratin for their diet. So, and the same stuff that's in your fingernails, that's what's in their feathers. But they also put chitin in their feathers. They also put, other things in their feathers. Your what we use is gelatin in our fingernails. All right, that's what makes our fingernails. It makes up our fingernails, makes up our bones, makes up our the part of our skin that keeps us protected from things in out there is gelatin. Whereas birds use chitin. Just a little bit different type of protein. Is folded a little differently. It's toxic to us, but it's not toxic to them because of what they use it for. You ever notice you don't eat feathers, right? You and I, we don't eat feathers. We eat the meat. There's something there. And the reason why you eat fungus, even though it has chitin in it, is because other than the chitin, there's also other proteins, there's other minerals in the fungus that you need. But you cannot digest the chitin. That's why when you shit out mushrooms, you shit out pieces of mushroom, whether it's masticated or not, it's pieces of it. The reason for that is because you cannot digest chitin. That's why you cannot eat bugs. And powdered chitin is so fucking horrible for you. I can't begin to tell you. Like, that's how you get asshole cancer. You know, that's really how you get asshole cancer, is from things like chitin. Indigestible materials, things that you cannot digest that get stuck in your digestive system and are not allowed to pass through it. That's how that happens. And it doesn't need to be a very big piece. It's like fucking microscopic. But because it's stuck there and it's not going anywhere and it's just festering, things that do feed on that chitin will start to eat on it in your gut. And because they don't just eat chitin, they'll also start to eat pieces of you. That's why I am really big on don't eat bugs. When you eat mushrooms, you eat them sparingly. Once in a blue fucking moon. All right. And you eat them with onions so that they pass right through you. And for those of you who don't understand that about onions, that's really the truth. They will pass right through you. They will also make your poo stink for days, but the onion itself is already gone. Corn doesn't have, well, no, it doesn't have chitin in it. It has its cellulose and lignum, just like all plants. Solid rocket boosters on the shuttle. Yeah, they made for a cool visual effect. That's the truth. A lot of power. Could really get the job done. They're great. All right. Rockets are awesome. They're necessary, even. This is what you would call a necessary evil in order to get things off of the ground. Because, you know, they are very powerful motors. They are the most powerful motors there are. That being said, there are very few motors elsewise that can make it in space, like in deep space, that are actually concepted and utilized. The reason for that, there's just not as big of a drive to make deep space engines as there is to make lifting engines and motors for ground travel and things like that. You know, and so what works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality made it so that, you know, there's no need there. So there's no, since there's no necessity, there's no invention. You need to have the power, the raw power that you get from a rocket to get the weight of a vehicle off of the ground, off of that gravitational well. You have to have the rocket to do that because it's a lot of energy, a lot of force right now. And that's why you don't see people using ion thrusters to do that. Sure, an ion thruster could get you off the ground, but it would take a lot more than just, you know, the ion thruster itself. You'd also need to do a lot of extra to it. Falcons are not solid fuel. They are liquid fuel. I believe it's methane and oxygen. Methalox. So yeah, but anyways, so yeah, in order to get any kind of weight off of that point of ground where you are, the gravitational distortion of any particular gravitational field or body in space is at its greatest. That's the event horizon of a black hole. That's the surface of a planet. That's the endocorona of a star. Okay, not the exocorona, not the heliosphere, but the endocorona down in the star where when we're looking at our star, we see where the the little tendrils and the sunspots and all that, that's the endocorona. When you get out to the exocorona, that's where you're looking at Soho and it's got the little circle blipped out and then you're just seeing the outside of it. That's the exocorona. And then you get out to the heliosphere, which encompasses the entirety of the solar system. Yeah. Falcons, the reason why they do that is specifically for the reusability of them. Yeah, my chicks are growing up pretty big and pretty strong there, because they're getting there quick. So you do need to go get your chickens, by the by. Don't dally, because they only get smaller. All right? The breeds only get smaller. The ones that are the undesirables, because they're the breed that nobody buys, those are going to be the ones that are still on the market come, end of June. So I'd be serious about getting into it right now. Get your birds. Yeah, William. JATO rockets on the C-130. Those, I believe, are hybrid solid liquid. So what you're doing is you're using a liquid oxidizer and a solid propellant. You're shooting that liquid oxidizer through that solid propellant, and the propellant is burning, and the gases are being forced out of the back end of the rocket. Yeah, they're solid fuel with a hybrid system. That's what I was saying. It's a liquid oxidizer, which is like, here comes the rain. A liquid oxidizer like LOX or ammonium perchlorate bisulfate or tetrachloride, something like that. A liquid oxidizer, and then that's run through a solid fuel, a tube of solid fuel, like rubber or I believe that, what was it that the JATOs use? It's a special composition rubber. It's made so that at a certain point in the rocket, once the liquid oxidizer, if you have too much liquid oxidizer, what happens is the fuel will burn out and it will stop burning. It actually has like a carbon-carbon neutral zone, and then it has the casing on the outside. So you've got this little tiny tube through the middle, and it's, you got the little tiny diameter in the middle, and then you got this large circumference around to the outside, where all of that is rubberized fuel. You could be using latex, you could be using, really any kind of solid fuel. And then you shoot the liquid oxidizer through that, and it ignites at the back end. You ignite it at the back end. And that ignition then burns back inside and creates more compression and more pressure thrusting out of the back end. And now you're up to full pressure. And then that's when you see that like the C-130 can do that short takeoff, because it goes from, you'll see the liquid oxidizer starts spewing a little bit out the back when it starts to take off, when it goes to take off. And then when it goes and it really starts to roll in, before it starts to roll, you'll notice that you get a little spittle of that liquid oxidizer, a quick burst of flame, and then a huge cloud of smoke coming out the back of it. And that's what I can say, that I know that those are hybrids. But yeah, those are some That's some cool technology, man. A hybrid rocket. You literally got a tank of freaking oxidizer and a tube of fuel. And that is what is pushing you. Kentucky, I am fine as wine, brother. Making a difference. I've got my pond, I've got my chickens, got my rooster, got my dog, my riffles, got my tobacco, got my smoke. I'm all good. I'm trying to achieve escape velocity here myself there, Maggie. Yeah, boy. Think I'm out of dabbage. Sticky bastard. First two burns are completed. And I don't even have any more of that. Smells so good though. All right. Roger that, Houston. We have hit apogee. Or is it perigee? Going up. I think it's perigee. Might be wrong. Probably wrong because it's been so fucking long since I stuck my brain in a freaking book and went and smacked the two sides together and just like, does that ink blot look like? This one, they call this a glasso passo because you can pass it off to your buddies and not give a fuck about it if they drop it. Literally a dime a dozen. Buy them anywhere. They've been called a lot of different things: finger pipes, glasso passo, uh, the world's most hated bowl. The reason why is that it's glass, and so they used to take these when they go and they'd smoke pot or whatever, and back in the 80s and 90s, and they were this size so that you could literally palm it if a police officer was driving past. This is the exact fucking reason why, by the way. This is no bullshit. It's not trying to be propagandic. This is real. Palm it in their hand and you can't see it. Okay? Police officer driving past. The police officer stops up the street. You can turn around and with a full pitcher's throw, rocket that motherfucker right into the ground, into the concrete, and turn it into glass powder. But you had to throw with all of your might in order to turn that into glass powder. I've done it a few times. Back when it was still only medical in California. They were kind of big on that. They're like, a little stupid with it. And the reason why it was stupid was because, you know, at the time, I I actually got addicted to Vicodin because I had to have a pain reliever for my back, and instead of being, you know, instead of smoking pot, I was taking pills because I just didn't want to be high and then end up having a fucking cop give me shit and be like, you know, where's your prescription? This, that, and the other. So when I smoked pot, it was in my backyard with one of these. And I had a special rock designated specifically. It was just right size and it was flat. Where if cops pulled up the front of the house, oh well, I'll go buy another one. They're only $6. Whack! Turn it into glass powder. And that's literally why they were designed like this. I'm not bullshitting. My dad told me about, you know, when he was a youngin' back in the 70s, they knew these people that would literally make these little pipes. They were glass pipes, all right, and these were hippies back in the 70s, all right. We're making these, but they were making them specifically for that purpose, and they were making them out of beer bottles. So yeah. Well, did you know how to blow glass? Dude, my old man, he knew a lot of people back then, dude. Like that's one of the perks of being a Navy brat was that he traveled the fucking world big time. Like, dude, everybody talks shit about, you know, Navy brats, Army brats, this, that, and the other, you know, like, you know, your dad was in the military, your mom was in the military, you weren't in the no, motherfucker, they were in the military too. That's what you don't know about it. They were in the military, they just weren't in the fucking shit of it. Kentucky Survival. Good to see you. Pyrex. Pyrex is actually pretty fun to work with if you know what you're doing. If you're like me and don't know fuck all, you probably end up getting your hands burnt or end up melting your blow tube or something like that. I don't know. Some of the dumb shit I've done, man. At one time, I did actually make a pipe. Doomer, good to see you, bro. First time around. Good to see you. There's another fella right there to tell you all about the 70s and 80s. See, I am not personally. I'm uh I was born in 1987. I'll put it that way. I was born in 1987. I watched the Berlin Wall fall bouncing on my daddy's knee. All right. I watched as, you know, the 90s rolled around and we got all the fucking good music and the really shitty fucking crazy motherfuckers and the good drugs. Yeah, well, I watched it all happen. I was Mr. Goody Two Shoes. I made a few wooden pipes. I've never actually been able to make a glass pipe. Funny enough. Speaking of glass pipes, have me another hit of that. Yeah, I got a little bit left. I'm saving. I'm just gonna keep on resonating that pipe for a little while. It's got plenty of shatter in it, or not shatter, wax, dabbing wax. Yeah, I used to smoke a bong, but after I got stabbed, it just I couldn't take that deep of a hit no more. It hurt too much. Take that deep of a hit, and I'd be sitting there choking, and all of a sudden my guts would be on fire, and I knew I did something wrong. I haven't hit a bong in a while because of that. I prefer pipes, joints, and I prefer that for everything except for dabs. Honestly, I prefer dabs to be in a dab jig, but I'll green screen the fuck out of a dab. You bet your ass. What? You gotta go pee? No. Go to potty. Oh no! Dog! You throw off my groove. Little fucker. Oh, I got an eye full of ear. Hmm. I think I got some fur in my eye. I got fur bald. This is why I can't wear any freaking nice clothes. Il Senor Muddy Paws over there. The Mr. Muddy Paws. Yeah, I used to lace my cigs when I was younger and I was living in San Pedro. I'll say that was not the most brilliant move on my part. Anymore, as if I smoke a spliff, it makes me sick. It makes me gag. Gandalf, they still make them. Y'all don't even know. Like, I had a joint that was this long and that big around when I was younger with my dad. We were sitting back parties like, hey, look what I got. I was like, what the fuck? Because he'd grown a plant in the backyard. Funniest fucking shit I've ever seen. We smoked maybe 4 hits off of that fucking thing and couldn't smoke anymore. And he's like, dude, I I can't see my face. I was like, Dad, no, 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 it's feel. He's like, no, I can't see my face. So I'm sitting there just laughing my ass off. I'm like, what? And so, we took that joint, we cut it up later, and just made it into bong rips because it was just too fucking potent, man. I mean, those plants that he grew, I don't know what the fuck strain he had or what, but all I know is he went and he took like a shovelful, just a single shovelful of chicken shit, and shoved it on top of a plant that was like this tall and fucking gangled as fuck. Just one plant. And then this plant turned into, well, let me put it this way. It was a bush so fucking big that when we would be playing like the Nerf dart shit around the yard, just fucking around playing with Nerf darts, I would hide behind that fucking bush because I could. This is a big fucking pot plant, man. I don't even know how the hell he did all that. It came out big. It, like I said, it was big enough to hide behind and bushy enough to hide behind, which is, that's not normal for pot plants. If you've ever seen one growing or ever seen grown a pot plant yourself, they normally get, about, they max out about waist to about mid shoulder. And they, when they branch out and they bush out, they got these really heavy branches, so they tend to get really wide, but they don't have a whole lot of leaf cover. This motherfucker, I swear to God, it looked like he had a damn Christmas tree growing in the backyard. It was so dense. It literally looked like, like the yew trees here, like the holy yew trees that we've got here. Like you could stick your hand into it and your arm would disappear. I don't know how he did that shit. But the actual cola that we got, like the main cola that we got off of it, dude, this cola was this fucking big around. And when I say this fucking big around, okay, this is a big ass fucking cola. That was the base of it. I mean, it was about like this fucking long, right? Let me see if I can stick my head in there for comparison. Dude, it was almost as long as I was tall. And the buds that came off that motherfucker, just even the popcorn buds were as long as my thumb. And I swear to God, they were twice as dense as my thumb. I don't know how he did it. Like I said, he just one shovelful of chicken shit. And I think if I remember correctly, it was straight out of the fucking coop. He didn't, he didn't salt it, for 6 months or anything like that. He just straight out of the freaking coop and right onto it. And it was the neighbor's chicken. So you got to understand, like, literally walked over with a flat shovel, scooped up a thing of chicken shit, walked back around and shoveled it onto the dirt. And that was it. One. And the whole thing just went Superman. I've never seen it, anything of the like in my life. We used the last guy I grew with. We used every single fucking hydroponic, every single organic, every single chemical fertilizer, and all of the different additives and nutrients and special shit and freaking fish emulsion and oh my God, dude, we got fucking scientific with it, down to mixing things at a certain specific pH and mixing things in a certain order so you wouldn't blow the fucking entire garage up. I mean, dude, it got serious as far as fertilizer for plants. Never got the yield that my dad did with a single shovel full of chicken shit, and I still to this day cannot figure it out. Get that out of here. Yeah, just a shovel full of chicken shit. We used to call it Nature Triple 15. It's one of the beauties of having a chicken. They shit constantly. I have a box of chicken shit underneath of like I literally put a crate underneath of my rooster because he shits so much that like the skirful that makes up his bedding that falls through it just literally turns into fucking dirt in it. It doesn't have time to it becomes a mound. It's already a hardened mound. Like this dude shits more than a freaking baby, dude. I am not bullshitting. Get you chickens. You want to grow a fire ass garden? Get you some chickens. I bullshit you not. They shit like crazy, and I'm be fair and honest. Chicken shit is the best, um, the best fertilizer in the world. Bird feces is the best fertilizer in the world. And people think, "Oh, you're nuts." No, it really is not just fucking proven through tradition, but it's also scientific fact that it's the safest and most effective fertilizer that there can be for growing crops. And the reason why it's the safest is because chicken shit has such a high nitrogen, high phosphorus, and high potassium count. At the same time, it also does not have pathogens in it that human beings or dogs for that matter, or other livestock can catch for the most part, unless you let them go and get a hold of things like rats that have rat lungworm. Then you got to watch out for it. But other than that, no. So you can't catch viruses from it. In other words, you can't get sick from the chicken shit being used on your plants and growing your plants in it. You can from human fecal matter. You can from dog. I don't know if you knew that, but you can actually get sick from using dog shit as a fertilizer if you do not compost it first. You do not have to do that with chicken shit. Majik, if you live in a tight knit community or in an apartment complex or whatever, and you want to have chicken shit for growing a garden or whatnot, hens don't make nearly as much noise as roosters do, nor are they as obnoxious. They stink like fucking crazy. Um, but if you can get your hands on hens, you might be able to supply yourself with enough chicken shit to be able to turn around and use in a garden, like a balcony garden or something like that. Another method is you just buy it from the store if you're in that particular situation. If you're in more of a situation where it's a community like mine, where it's suburbia, your closest neighbor is, you throw a rock, you're knocking out their windows, but you know, it's not so close that it's like your neighbor's in your backyard, basically. Their window looks into your kitchen, or their bathroom window looks into your kitchen or something like that. So if you're not that close to each other, then you can really get away with a good flock, good herd of chicken. I mean, I got one rooster and I got four pullet, and my neighbors are, like I said, close enough. I could throw a rock and I'd break out windows. So, and yeah, Honest to God, dude, if you don't have chickens and your neighbors have chickens and say they just throw away the chicken shit, dude, you can make money off of that. Fucking serious money off of that. Just, not just in the produce particular. You can just bag that and fucking turn around and sell it. I'm telling you, dude, that stuff is fire. That's why I was like, if I'm gonna fucking be doing that shit, I'm pulling it from all ends. I'm gold mine here. We're working a gold mine. Working here in the salt mines, you know what I'm saying? Dog out. Get that out of here. Yeah, that. Get it out of here. Yeah, they probably will give you some chicken shit if you haul it. Be like, hey, get a clean coop out of the mix. We don't need any more chicken shit. We already got our fucking gardens filled, you know? And they'll be shitting so much that within a few months, they'll have enough to go and turn around and reseed the garden. So there you go. God's honest truth. I am fucking. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm running a garden, I'd be to my armpits and chicken shit already. Oh, and just so you know, chicken shit will literally decompose uh, just about anything. So don't leave it in a container that is like, anything other than plastic. And even plastic, honest to God truth, it will literally eat it right away. Uh, Wood, not happening. That's gone. Metal, I give it a couple of weeks. Plastic, you might get a few months out of. Hell, you might even get a year out of plastic. But just, straight chicken shit. No. It's not going to be anything in anything. It's not going to do anything but dissolve anything with plastic. I mean, the wood that makes up his scratch down here is mixed in with the shit and the seed and whatnot, and it's dissolving the wood. It's actually breaking it down more than he does. And the chicken shit that's in the plastic container in there, along with the wood scraps from his bedding or whatever, it's dissolving in there. It's literally just dissolving down in. I'm telling you guys, you cannot contain chicken shit. It just won't contain. I heard that they used to make they used to make nitric acid straight from chicken shit. Dog, get that out of here. I'm not gonna ask you to do it again. Keep it out of here. Yeah, they made gunpowder with chicken shit, man. Look, if you're going to be making nitric acid from chicken shit, that stuff will literally dissolve just about anything. You could turn around and make gunpowder with chicken shit because of the nitric acid. I mean, Food for thought. There's a lot of things you can do with chickens. Chickens are an investment in so many fucking ways because you're not just getting, all right, it's not, you're not just pouring money into an animal that shits and you, the only thing that you get out of it is love. You're getting food, fuel, gunpowder, food in another sense, materials. There is so much that you're getting out of a chicken versus like something else where you're only getting the meat and the bone and the leather, or you're only getting the love of the animal, which would be like a dog. I mean, don't get me wrong. Houdini is not going to be run out of here anytime fucking soon. That's my boy. If somebody tries to put hands on my dog, I'm gonna let Houdini chew on him. I'm gonna let him chew on him. Then I'll ask him if that was a good idea afterwards. If there's enough left over to ask. That's a fair and honest thing, man. He don't want to leave. You my boy. Hey, I don't want your toy. I don't want it. I want your hole. See, that's my thing. I wouldn't trade Houdini for the world. Don't get me wrong. But the reality is out of everything, the chickens are the most useful out of everything I've got right now. The fish are going to be mondo fucking useful. I will be using the shit out of them fish. Literally and physically. Literally and metaphorically. They'll help to treat the irrigation water. I'll be able to get, food from the fish. I'll be able to get fertilizer from the fish dredging the pond. You do get a lot out of it. It's like there's a reason why I'm doing all this shit. I'm not just sitting here on my hands, on my thumb, going, well, I'm a hire professional. Why hire one? I got one right here. That's the way as I look at it. But professional right here. I used to install ponds. I used to fucking work in all sorts of different things. So I'm not just held down to, well, that's the beauty of working a dozen different professions in your life. You've got a ton of different skills that you can use. Like digging ponds, shooting a gun, taking care of animals, turning a wrench, swinging a hammer, cutting the grass, mowing a lawn. These are all skills that you use in everyday life that you don't realize about it. You also use it at work. I mean, I look at it as I am a professional. I'm doing the work privately, but for all sense and reality, when it comes down to DIY, I really do know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm not just doing it on a whim, like, this might work. No. I'm sorry. It makes me giggle thinking about people that are like that. Just, this might work. Let's do it. Oops. No, that's not me. I'm one of those where I think about it, I calculate it, I look at it, how will this work? And really work with what I have? How can I make it be a lasting work with what I have? I can do some amazing shit, actually. I wish the winds weren't so strong right now. Trying to fill my pond still. I'm trying to grab as much of that rainwater as I can, you know, fill that pond up. And then that pond is almost, I think, like 5.5 foot to the overflow. Pretty deep pond. Doesn't look like much. It looks like it's really skinny, but it's really skinny and really deep. I wanted to put enough water there so that if it froze, I would have a layer of regular liquid water at the bottom to where the pond would not freeze over completely, and I could keep the fish in it over the winter, this coming winter. And I don't have to do much to cover it over, you know, in the sense that because there will be running water happening, I don't want to have everything, you know, completely unable to gather more water at the same time as I don't want to have a 6 foot fucking chunk of ice instead of 5.5 foot of water and 1/2 a foot of ice or something, you know, because the way that the winters are around here. Might make for some interesting ice fishing video though. Backyard ice fishing. God, that would be hilarious. Could you guys see me doing backyard ice fishing? Me sitting on top of the pond, cutting a hole, freaking thing. Oh, I got a big one. I don't think I could do that. I actually think I might have to end up making that pond just a wee bit bigger because of the fact that I want to put trout in it. I don't just want to have bluegill or, you know, a couple of crappie or a koi pond or something. I want to put trout in it. That's why I dug it so deep. Well, it's up to you, man. It's your turtle. Just saying. I would not be surprised if he ended up somewhere as this turtle sauce piquant. Them alligator snapping turtles are, you know, they're Southern comfort, is what they are. So, just being honest about it. At the same, if he never gets caught, hey, sweet and awesome. I knew about this feller that was down in Los Angeles. This guy went out and he had a bunch of pacu in his terrarium, and he dumped them into a fucking a community pond out there in Los Angeles. And to this day, there are fish in that pond that are as big around as a human being and have human-like teeth that look like a fucking piranha. It's just one of those, you know, I don't even know, man. Don't even know how you can do that. I won't be letting my, intentionally letting my chickens go, or intentionally just turning out my fish into a wild pond or something like that. I'm not doing that. I watched that entire pond, its entire bass population, its bluegill population decline after that. And then the cormorants came, and forget about it. The only things that live in that pond that are not stocked there anymore are the pacu and the cormorants and the rabbits. Everything else is, yeah. Everything else is it's a stocked fish. You get stocked trout, and you get people that come in and they'll put in bass and they'll put in bluegill, because those fish don't last there very long. They're just gone. Those pacu eat everything. They eat the catfish, for fuck's sake. They'll take. There are ducks around there. There was one duck, or no, it was a duck. There was this one duck that I called Skip, and he had 1 foot. That pacu knobbed his foot off right at the knee. And what was it? I knew a seagull down there too. We used to call him Stumpy, and he would fly between Cabrillo Beach Pier and that pond. And I'll tell you what, man, Stumpy was cooler than fuck, because he would just sit there on the side of the bridge and just chill with you. Whereas all the other seagulls were shitheads and assholes and fucking over everybody and shitting on people and taking away their food and stuff like that. Stumpy would just chill there. He'd just sit there and chill and watch. Like, what you doing, man? Oh, catching fish? Can I have one? He just chill there and just hang out with you. Whereas all the other seagulls were assholes. Stumpy was cool as fuck. That's kind of the way that Skip was. Skip would waddle up to people and just sit down next to them and just chill there while you're fishing. He wasn't after all the bread and all that shit. He went around and he'd eat grass and he'd nibble on different plants and this, that, and the other. But he'd just sit there and chill with the fishermen, not do fuck all else. Like, these two birds were the only ones that would do this at the park there and down there at the pier. Stumpy would go back and forth to the pier, but Skip was the only one that would sit there at that pond and just chill there. And he didn't give a fuck about the pacu that took his leg off. He's like, yeah, fuck this. Doesn't matter. I still got one going. Yeah, they are too dangerous to keep as pets. And, being that they're indigenous animals, gators, gator snapping turtles, I understand somebody going and saying, oh, this guy needs to go back to the wild. They're indigenous critters. They're supposed to be here, Gator snapping turtles, alligators. Actually supposed to have our own species of anaconda here in the States, and we're supposed to have a species of saltwater crocodile, but we have not seen as many of those. We've seen an awful fucking lot of pythons and boa constrictors and iguanas. What the fuck over? Seen a lot of European rabbits out here in the West. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I'd like to know why on God's green earth we're not allowed to go and shoot the European rabbits around town. They're destroying everybody's gardens and whatnot. Well, whatever. One of these days, I'm gonna catch one of them rabbits on a sly, and they're gonna be like, "Well, you're not supposed to be doing that." I'm gonna be like, "Dude, he was eating my garden. Self-preservation." Person, property. Yeah. That's why I'm so on core with the fucking rats. The little bastards are everywhere, and they've been attacking the chickens. They've been attacking the chicken feed. They've been attacking, my garden. My garden is down to bloody nubs over there. Most of my cabbages are gone. There's 2 cabbages that made it from last year. Everything else is fucked off. And in the leeks, they're leaving the leeks alone. They're leaving the garlic alone. They're leaving the peppers alone. But they don't give a fuck. They'll eat anything else. These rats have got to go. They are not indigenous. Just like the black and white piebald bunny. It's not indigenous around here. They do not exist around here. There's the brown and white speckled spotted one that they are indigenous. But yeah. Well, now, Steve is live, y'all. Harloha's birthday bash over there. Y'all take off and go and get over there now. I'm going to be jumping off York. And y'all have a wonderful Patriots Day. This has been Ye-Yo Guardsman on with another Freedom Forum. And motherfuckers, I am out.